Tipsheet, DH role helps Pujols make history. The designated hitter role is helping Albert Pujols climb baseball's all-time leader lists, which is something to consider amid all this chit-chat about eliminating the DH. This season he has played just 25 of his 91 games at first base, serving as the DH in the other tilts to give his surgically repaired feet a break. And thanks to his 6-RBI outburst Tuesday night, he ranks third overall in the American League this season with 72 RBIs. Pujols is hitting just .255 this season, his new normal in his twilight years, but he is hitting .317 with runners in scoring position. That sounds like something a really good DH would do. He's quietly having another incredible season, Angels manager Mike Scioscia told reporters Tuesday night. Indeed, Pujols is on pace for 33 home runs and 122 RBIs this season. He drove in another run Wednesday night. Albert is closing in on former Cardinal slugger and current Padres bench coach Mark McGwire for 10th on the all-time home run list. Pujols has hit 579 in his career, 4 fewer than Big Mac and 7 fewer than Frank Robinson in the number 9 spot. And his 54 multi-homer games ties him with Robinson and Manny Ramirez for 10th on the all-time list. Could Pujols stay healthy enough to produce at this pace without the DH role? That seems unlikely, given his injury history. Although he is hitting better when he plays first base this season, the Angels want him to last the season. Eventually, I think with Albert, if he pushes too hard at first base, no matter how comfortable he feels, he might not be as strong in the batter's box as he needs to be, Scioscia said earlier this season. And that's important. Albert's late career production reminds that eliminating the DH role could take some aging hitters out the game while they still have something to give. On Tuesday night, he made the Rangers pay for walking Mike Trout to get to him, smacking one of his 2 3-run homers in response. It's part of the game, Pujols told reporters. Trout's one of the best players in the game. That situation, they were probably trying to get a ground ball double play with me, especially with the way he has been swinging the bat all year. My goal is to try to get a good pitch to hit and execute, and I was able to do that. He also shrugged off the runaway pitch that hit him in the helmet. It could have been worse, Pujols said. It could have been in my face. I'm just glad I was able to smile and not pop my eyes out or break my forehead. I'm just glad I was able to get up and stay on my feet. Mysteries of the universe, questions to ponder while wishing the undermanned Padres could visit Busch Stadium more often. What is more annoying than being linked romantically to a Kardashian? Just how far will Tom Brady take this Deflategate thing? What can't sports learn from the Republican National Convention? What others are writing here. Their opinions on the topics of the day. Pete Demol, aside. All of the moves in conference realignment can be traced back to 2 things: money and television. And since the current cord-cutting cable climate isn't conducive to the Big 12 adding a channel, the league decided instead to maximize its potential television revenue. When it came down to it, All the talk of the importance of round robins and one true champion seems kind of quaint. The Big 12's television consultants put forth a compelling presentation in Dallas on Tuesday. They showed how 4 new teams combined with the addition of a conference championship game could add nearly $1 billion additional dollars before the league's deal with ESPN and Fox expires in 2025. Michael Baumann, The Ringer. The one trade rumor that won't go away this year is the deal that sends left-handed reliever Andrew Miller to the Cubs and de facto DH Kyle Schwarber to the Yankees. As fake trades go, this one's pretty good, because where you land on it depends on how you value not only the 2 players involved, but also pitching versus hitting, and the present versus the future. First off, let's assume that the Yankees, who are 47-46 with a 9.2% shot of making the playoffs, according to Baseball Prospectus, are out of it. That might not actually be true, but if the Yankees want to make the playoffs this year, they're not going to trade for an injured Schwarber, and this exercise becomes pointless. But if the Yankees are out of it, this is a near-perfect win-now move for the Cubs and a near-perfect rebuilding move for the Yankees. Schwarber, who's out for the year after going full Willis McGahee on his left knee in April, provides zero value for Chicago in 2016, but as a polished 23-year-old slugger with 5 more years of team control before free agency, he'd offer a trade partner nearly as much potential value as any less proven prospect, with almost none of the uncertainty. With the Cubs set at first base and both outfield corners spoken for, a trade to the American League would likely do Schwarber good. The Cubs and Schwarber tried as hard as they could to make an Evan Gattis-type catcher outfield hybrid role work, but that's too much to ask going forward. Also, a trade to the Yankees would force Schwarber to shave off his unfortunate goatee. Imagine how good of a hitter Schwarber could be if he weren't splitting his attention between baseball and his system of a down-covered band. Terrence Moore, Sports on Earth. Okay, it's time for some perspective regarding NBA players and the U.S. men's national basketball team. In the big picture, the impact of the first Dream Team in 1992 was overblown. So were the failures of those underachievers who somehow spent a dozen years later turning gold for the Americans into bronze during the Summer Games in Athens. Whatever the case, Team USA is doing just fine, thank you. No LeBron James. No worries. That's the little picture. The same applies to fretting over the staggering list of NBA princes joining King James on the sidelines for next month's Olympic Games in Rio. We'd love to have them, but we won't miss them. There is hope for Team USA, and his name is Jerry Colangelo. Even though he doesn't dribble like Stephen Curry, shoot like Damian Lillard or block shots like Anthony Davis, all among the absent for these Summer Games. When Colangelo was hired by officials following what became known as the Bronze Team after its Greek tragedy through indifference during the 2004 Olympic Games, he set the foundation for grabbing gold medals forever, or for at least as long as he sticks around. Megaphone. I've even involved in situations where I've brought someone in to help, and there was already people in place, and the guy coming in wasn't really an upgrade. I don't believe that will happen here. But if you don't, then there can be a dissenting moment within the clubhouse. I've been part of that. Cubs manager Joe Maddon, on how a deadline trade addition can backfire.